So, welcome to Lotos Lab. I'm Barnaby Brown, and in this video I'm going to propose an element of, I suppose you could call it a lyre tuning curriculum. So I'm in the Museum Matera, and I've got three beautiful lyres here made by Marco Sciascia for the museum in Matera. There's a Barbitas here, the first Barbitas that Marco ever made. And these are fabulous instruments. Two lyres, and today in this video I'm going to focus on effectively student training. I'm going to come back to the museum in maybe a month or possibly 6 weeks' time, and this video is for the staff. And anybody watching this video who's interested, asking the question, what does a lyre player in the 21st century, who's interested in ancient Greek music, to any degree, either as a kind of historicist, a reconstructionist wanting to be ancient, or as a contemporary composer doing whatever music makes your soul sing, this is for you. Because how to tune, I believe, is about 50% of the package you give to your public. If you play in tune, it's just lovely to listen to. So, I'm going to give some very clear instructions for assessment purposes, so that when I come back, I can gauge the progress of the student players here. Now, there are two aspects to this. One is the sort of manual business of what you're doing up here. There is the how the strings are wound, and there is your ear, your relationship with interference beats. So I'm going to move quite quickly. You may have to replay bits of this video. So forgive me as I dash through quite a lot of material. And I'm going to begin with the beauty of Kollops. Okay, so I think this system's great, and there's a reason why it was canonical for centuries in the ancient Greek world. These give you total flexibility. Okay, as soon as you drill a hole, you're stuck. You're stuck with a number of strings, and you're stuck with the distance between the strings. But with this system, you can remove a collops. This is set up to be 7-string lyre, but you could easily, in about half an hour, change it to a 9-string or an 8-string or a 13-string if you wanted. And depending on the size of your hand, you can adjust the string distances. Now, obviously, with a lyre, you can adjust it down here, yeah? You can just move, I can nudge that string a little bit closer there, all right? And you can bring them all closer if you want to have a tighter set of strings down there, and the fan can be adjusted here. You can move those closer. This is quite nice, quite standard. You want your fingers, so I can fit my fingers through here quite easily, and it's comfortable to lay my hand on the strings in that position. Now, the simple rule, if you want to be able to get perfect intonation easily, without struggling with your tuning, never allow the string to do 360 degrees. And I've been, I'm not a lyre player, but I've been helping people with lyres for about 5 years now. And you see the string here? That goes all the way round, yeah? After doing the Kollops business, this is the crossbar, and this string has done 360 degrees. And I just know now from years of experience and making, maybe 100 lyres with children and students of different ages, I know that that's going to be not a nightmare to tune, but difficult to tune, and the danger of a string snapping. So this one is just okay. This one here, you see that it departs from the collops here, and then it goes round the crossbar, and then it comes off the crossbar there. So this has done maybe 350 degrees. Yeah, so that one's just okay. But as soon as you've done 360, I mean, this one has done, 500 degrees, okay? So that is going to be unpleasant to tune. It's not, you can't easily do a 2-cent shift, okay, to get rid of the interference beats and get a beautiful harmony. Now going up here, that's fine, okay? That one has done maybe 300 degrees. This one has done maybe 350. This one has done, you can see it leaves the collops there. Okay, it goes all the way around, then it comes off here. So is that kind of 320, something like that. So that's fine, maybe 300 degrees. This one, that's fine, that's even less. It's done 180 or maybe 190 degrees. This one is fine. So the only one we have to fix is this. Now, I'll just explain why we're going to fix it. I can see that it's done well over 360 degrees on the final turn after it leaves the collops. And I just know that if I try to tune it, now I'm going to just check my tuning. You begin with messy, and I would always take, here, there's a little tuner. This is not very precise, but I can put that on, and I can play my messy. And that's what I want, because I know that auloi are often a bit sharper than B. Okay, so lyre aulos. Okay, so you might be going for a B at 440 hertz, which would be green, but I'm quite happy to have it just a little bit sharper than B, so that it's in tune with the aulos. And the point is, you need to use a tuner or some fixed reference point for messy. Always begin with your middle string because it's the most stable. Okay, the outer strings will move more with changes in temperature and humidity. Your most stable string is the middle one. So you fix your reference point here. Now, if you're playing with an aulos, that might change. Okay, so you need I use tonal energy tuner, TE tuner, and I would encourage that the particular assessment or learning outcome for a student approaching ancient instruments if you've got an aulos player, you can't predict what pitch they're going to be. You need to quickly be able to tune to your aulos player, and so I'm going to bring in my TE tuner, and I'm going to press sustain. Okay, you want to have sustain on, and I'm going to go for a B. Okay, that's giving me the octave 4, so I'll go down to octave 3 and press B again. I'll now get octave 2 and press B again. So I've now got 3 Bs, and this is set to a tenor sax sound. And I've put I'll just switch it off. So I've set my A to 444. Okay, so I could change the A by going to settings, preferences here. I could change my A. If my aulos was, say, a bit sharper, I might go to A4, let's say it's at A448, all right? Done. Okay, so now go back to sound, and here we are. My A is 448, okay, so that's a bit sharper than 440. That might be where you want to be to accompany a lyre aulos. So now press sustain, press the B, get my 3rd octave, get my 4th octave. That gives me a nice sound. Now, I'm going to tune my B. I'm going to switch this off, okay? I'm going to tune by ear this is not an aulos player. This is a lot steadier than an aulos player, okay? So I would suggest that you get used to tuning orally to that sound. Now I can hear wah, 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 wah. I want to sharpen that. Until I get the sweetness. There we go. Now, we have now set messy to a fixed point. Well, an aulos is not fixed, but you've decided where your messy is going to be. Now, so that was 448 hertz, all right? I'm going to use 448 hertz for now because I know that the instrument may sink a little bit, particularly if you've got a new instrument, your strings are still stretching. So I would, instead of setting it to 440 hertz, if you want to play at concert pitch and you want your strings to settle in quickly, tune to 448 or something like that, or 445, so that it settles a little. It takes maybe 2 weeks or a month to settle instead of 3 months to settle, okay? Now, I wanted to just verify that this hupate here, the bass string, we've done messy, okay? Now, I'm going to gauge how easy to tune is this string down here, okay? And don't do it one after the other, do them together. Because what you're listening to in your ear is the wah 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 wah, or the wah 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 wah, and I can wah 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 wah. It's up high. Now, there we go. That is a sweet sound, but you can hear the click 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 here. Now, say I was going to put it down to a fifth. Okay, there's a fifth. Now, we don't want a fifth, we want a fourth. Okay, and I'm hearing. Can you hear that? And I'm hearing whether it's with a wah 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 or whether it's straight. So what you're doing when you're tuning is you're learning to hear the upper partials. And when two strings are in tune, the upper partials are in sync, okay? And when they're out of tune, there's an interference that's created that gives you the wah 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 wah. But it's often easier to hear the wah 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 up in the gods, okay? So you're listening to those higher partials in the sound. Now, actually my experience there was that wasn't too bad. Okay, it was tuning okay, up and down. It wasn't difficult for me. So I'm going to leave that. If it was giving me any difficulty in pitch, I would, there's no point fixing something if it's not broken. So that is tuning nicely. We'll leave it for now. But I'm aware that it's done over 360, it's done 400, 500 or something. So the chances are it might give problems in the future. Now this, let's just run through the, notice I moved really quickly there to avoid chipping this on the floor. Okay, you need to have your okay, that's fine. Okay, that's not going to chip the plectrum on the floor. Normally you're playing standing up, and it's lovely to have this long enough that you can conduct, okay? So this is your, and you need to, so you can be, right the way up there, and, whoops, let's get my fingers onto appropriate strings. Okay, now that's not in tune. I can now drop the plectrum because I know it's not going to hit the floor, and we'll tune again. So what I'm assessing a student's speed, how quickly you can get an instrument perfectly in tune. In the middle of a concert, okay? You are performing, something happens, a string slips, you're in the middle of a song. The most skillful thing is not to have to break your performance, but you might improvise a little bit and just fix that string while you're performing, and the audience might not even notice that you've had to retune a string. Okay, so we're becoming really skilled. Now, you can't use a tuner mid-piece. So let's develop the ear skill. We've fixed our messy, and really important is that I can take this hand completely off the lyre and that my body is comfortable. I'll repeat, I'm not a lyre player. I'm not an expert at lyre. I'm an aulos player. I've only, but I think it's helpful for an aulos player to have a basic understanding of a lyre, and above all, lyre tuning. So, I'm going to fix that fourth. So we have messy, neaty, or messy, neaty. Now that I don't want that. So what's required is an oil pastel. An oil pastel just gives it a little bit, or a soap, pure natural soap. Soap can be a bit too slippy. I prefer an oil pastel. So you don't have that. If you hear click, click, click on your instrument, then it's not so easy to tune. Yeah, because you don't want to click really. That's good. Now, so that's my fourth. Now I can hear whoa, 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 whoa. So that needs to be. That's pure. So we're doing fourths and fifths, and notice that depending on where the collops is, so this is easier. And you have to keep playing as I tune. Okay, and now, so I can hear wah, 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 or wah, 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 and I'm trying to eliminate those interference beats, because what's happening is the harmonic of this is paraniti, and this is parupati, okay? Paraniti, parupati, and the harmonics of this are interfering with the harmonics of that. You can hear it both up there. Now it goes. It was, and it's now. My voice is not giving a very good example there, but you get the idea. You're eliminating, you're gradually slowing down the wah-wah until it's steady. Now, this is what an electronic tuner, a digital tuner, does in its clever electronics. And what I want to assess in a student is not dependence on a bit of digital machine, okay, but that capacity in the brain. Okay, so that's what I want to, in 6 weeks' time, I want to hear every member of staff, how are you getting on with this ear tuning? And what we've done there is, you could call it a sunnemenon tuning, all right? So you have multiple keys, okay, multiple modes available here. The tuning begins with messy, and you go pure fourth, messy, neaty, neaty, likanos. And I'm going to test it, having tuned it by using two digits and a hand simultaneously, okay? This is really important, so set yourself up so you're comfortable tuning, and then to test your tuning, take a plectrum and do it the other way. So now, because you can hear slightly better. That is not quite perfect, but we're only talking about 1 cent, so I'm going to leave it. Okay, so this is perfect. Because I can hear the, and it's straight. And now this one, and it's a very slow beat. Okay, I'm not going to worry about that. I'm going to move on. Perfect. Oh, that is really nice, yeah? And now, having got to there, I'm going to leave my likanos on likanos. I'm going to hop those 2 fingers there, and I'm going to hop that thumb there. And now, again, that's about 1 or 2 cents. No, 1 or half a cent off. Good enough for now. That's not good enough. Okay, so I can drop my plectrum and adjust treaty, okay? Or trite, depending on your pronunciation. So I need now to switch to that, and I'm going to fix this. I can still hear. Almost got rid of it. That's worse. there we go. So now I'm putting my fingers back here so we can go. That's not quite right. You can hear the harmonics better. Okay. So let's see if I can get rid of that. It's not making any difference. Worse. Yes. Okay, so that little process there took a few little turns. That was nice, so that the proportion of chalk makes it sticky, and oil pastel makes it smooth. So if you put too much oil pastel or soap on, it slips, and if you put too much chalk on, it's grippy. Okay, so you need to, if it's not right, then you need to take off the string, adjust, add more chalk or more soap, and then put it back on until it's right. And it's really worth spending time on this, because this is you cultivating your beauty of sound. Being able to get it into tune is 50% of what you give to the public. If anyone's listening to you and it's out of tune, it's just not enjoyable, or not as enjoyable as when it's in tune. And just a little note on tuners. So something like this, you know, it's nice and easy, but it doesn't give you very much precision. So I can, so I know that, because I tuned it at 448, all right, it's giving me sort of that fourth red light there. So I could decide, okay, I know that I need to hit that fourth red light to be at 448. But then only use a digital tuner for messy. Then you take it off, you say goodbye to your crutch, okay? You never learn to ride a bicycle if you keep on your stabilizers, okay? You've got to take off the stabilizers, okay? You've got to remove it. As long as you have a digital tuner to do your tuning, you're not learning. Practice. You get good at tuning by doing it. Now, moving on. We have here, this one is now in tune, and although this is over 360, I'm not going to touch it because I've found that it's working fine. So, a little note on the relationship between a lyre and a barbitos. For the purposes of this, for the museum staff being able to play together, it makes sense to have them a fourth apart. And this also ties in with the ancient Greek musical system, where it's tetrachordal. So if this is messy, and that is hupati, a fourth below, okay, I'm going to make the messy of the barbitos the same as the hupati of the lyre. So, now there we are, that's fine. It's a little bit flat, so I'll just move to the barbitos now. And this is an early, this is the very first instrument that Marco made, and I think every time you make an instrument you learn something. And what you can see here is that the strings, that the arms are beginning to lean forward. What I actually want to do is to take all these strings off and put them on the other side, just so that there's less sort of pressure pulling the arms, distorting the arms that way. And what that will also enable us to do is to fix the angle of the strings on the bridge here, because that angle, well, I need to change this bridge. You can see this bridge here, it's just tied on, well, we need to cut that off. And I think I might saw this bridge in half. The idea was to experiment with a buzzing sound, but you're never going to get a buzz if it's... You can see that this lyre, in this humidity, the arms have bent since I made that bridge, because the angle was like that. Humidity is a problem, so that will buzz, okay? And that will not buzz. Well, that's just, okay? So you change the sound. Okay, if you want to buzz, you need that sort of angle. Now, obviously, a buzz is an aesthetic thing. You might, in Africa, they spend ages cultivating the buzz. You try to get a beautiful buzz. It's all about the angle of the bridge, in the begana. So I'll just put that So that gives us, that's quite a nice sound. And it prolongs, it beautifies. You've got to think of it, if you're cultivating the buzz aesthetic, then you want it to go boing, and it changes colour. It's a magical thing. That's horrible. Ah, yes. Yeah. So you can spend hours getting a good buzz, and the Ethiopians and Eritreans have a separate little bit of leather under each string, so they can manually adjust the buzz on each string. So this needs a little bit of attention, but that's the main thing. I think this Barbitos should be exactly a fourth, one tetrachord below the lyres. And just to conclude this session, one of the skills that I would assess is changing a string. How quickly can you change a string? Now, there is a serious issue here because I was trying to tune it earlier, and I discovered that some of the strings were beautiful to tune. You know, you could really get 1 cent. You know, it was a pleasure. And that's what you want. You want your instrument to be a pleasure and a joy to tune. And other strings weren't responding. Now, if you move a collops and you don't hear a change in the speed of the wah 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 wah, there's a problem. And particularly if it's a higher, thinner gauge string, there's a risk that it will break. You really want a well set up instrument will always give you a pitch difference when you move the collops. Okay, so if it's not doing that, don't leave it. Act. Fix the issue so that you don't end up with a broken string. Let's just quickly recap the tuning, and we'll discover which strings are not behaving. I mean, I can just have a quick look at them and see that's going to be fine. Okay, it's not done 360. That is just done 360, so it might be okay. That one's I can immediately see. Do you under there? See that there? That equals danger. That string could break because it's done over 500 degrees. Yeah, right the way around there. Now, this one's fine. Well, that has done precisely 360. Okay, so that one was a shorter string. This is a longer string, so it's got many more winds around the collops, which is good. Fine to have that. It's the last wind that matters. So this one may be okay because it's only done 360. Now this one here, that is a serious risk of breaking because you can see under there, it's gone all the way around. All right, so this I would predict is going to be difficult to tune and risk of breaking. This one's fine, it's only done 350, okay, or 340 degrees. And this one has done 600 or something, because you can see it's gone right the way around. Now, there is always that you've got more, they're more forgiving, the bass strings. So this might be fine, it might be okay. Up here, this one here, I'm really worried about that. You know, this has a higher risk of breaking because it's done a complete circuit. Now, that is my experience speaking. Let's now see whether my experience matches up with the reality of this lyre. Is this string more difficult to tune than the others? Okay, if my theory is correct, that should be nice and easy, that should be nice and easy, that might be problematic, and this I would expect to be really problematic. So I'll switch on, just to recap, I'm going to go sustain, B, add an octave, add an octave. That's flat. Oh, that's clicking, so I would maybe add a little bit of soap to that. That'll do. Switch off the reference pitch and continue by ear. And what I'm going to do is not use the plectrum initially. I'll just do it by hand. Now, it's interesting with all this curvature and here, I'm noticing I'd have to move the action and then and then play afterwards. There we are. Okay, that's a pure fourth. On we go. Oh, wow, just a little bit. I'm not quite satisfied with that. If it's difficult to hear, then take the plectrum, and it can just be a little bit easier. Yeah, it kind of brings out the harmonics. So I can tell it's flat, so I want to go up the way. And I've now gone too sharp, so to get it down, I'm going to alter the way that I'm holding the peg, and just occasionally you can just gently, just by a little side to side to relax it a fraction. Okay, so just this action, I just want to give it a tiny little shift down. There we are. But I want... So I was moving it, and it wasn't getting better. And now I look, and I can see why. It's because it's done 480. Okay, so this string is taking time to tune. I think I would have had that in tune already if it wasn't for that. Because that's out of tune, and the other thing is that when it's like that, it doesn't give you nice little increments. It's just, it's a bother to tune. Yeah, so I'm just going to change it, all right? Now, to change the string, I put it down in my feet like this. So what I want to do is get rid of that it's done the whole loop. So off we go. Yeah, you see that? I'm having to turn it all the way around. Basically, if it reaches there, you need to start again. You need to go back and add in a wind. If it goes beyond that, just forget it, all right? The last wind is crucial. Now, what I'm going to do, the quick and easy thing would be just to put in an extra one of those. But I still think that's not going to be enough. You see? That's still going to give me 360. So that doesn't solve the problem. Okay? Putting in that little extra wind. So what that means is I've got to go right the way back to the beginning and start on the other side. Okay? So as I go back, winding back and forth, I can see now, this is really crucial, you've got to notice I'm starting on the far side. So in order to solve the problem, I need to start on the near side. So now I'm going to notice, I want to finish up on that side, okay? So I'm noticing that's the side I want to finish on, all right? So you have to think, you have to just concentrate at this moment. So you start off, it's kind of neutral there. You go around and think, ooh, so on the back it has to be on that side, so that on the front it is on that side. So before you continue, make sure that you're on the right side of the peg. Now, on we go, and what I'm hoping is that when I get to the end, yeah, perfect. So now, I'm just going to, oops. Oh, yeah, sorry. So in fact, I made a mistake. I was looking at this and copying this string. But do you see what's happening? That means that the collops would have to be here, and this string would go under there, which is a problem because what can happen is that you touch the string. So in fact, I'm going to go back. I'm going to go back to this point here, and not go on that side. I'm going to go on this side, so that I'm matching this string here. Okay, and now, yeah, I'm on that side, and that I'll just wiggle this along so that when I get to here. Let's make sure the string, so I'm just pulling it towards me so that when the string lands on the crossbar, that distance equals that distance. Okay, so it needs to come a little bit closer to me. There we go. All right, now, so I'm going to tune it to a fifth below niti. This is lichanos. There we go. And hopefully that will now be easy to get in, to do the fine tuning. And this is what it's all about. How easy is it to do the fine tuning? That seems fine to me. Let's check it with the plectrum. There we go. Okay, I don't even need to touch it, all right? So, those are the skills that I will be assessing here in the museum when I next come back. And those are the skills that I would propose any lyre teacher cultivates with the Kollops system. So let's just summarize. Messy, there's ability to tune messy to a sound, a drone on a tuner, or getting it on the nail, or deciding, okay, I want it to be 20 cents sharper than A440, or whatever you decide. A fixed messy, and then you switch off all digital devices. And you cultivate the skill of tuning by ear. So that mid-concert, or when your batteries are, when you run out of battery, you're not lost. You're able to do it by ear because we're cultivating our brains, and our brains are better than any digital tuner. Cultivation of fourths and fifths. So immediately being able to tell the difference. Knowing what a fourth is and knowing what a fifth is, just because you've done it 2,000 times. I learned to tune when I was 14, 15, tuning the school harpsichord. Okay, now you've got a lot of strings to tune. If you've got a full manual harpsichord. You get speedy at it, yeah? And learning temperaments and counting beats. With a lyre, it's dead simple, okay? Compared with tuning a piano or tuning a harpsichord, this is childish, all right? So I come from a conservatoire environment where I would treat this as absolute basic skill. Learn to tune by ear. Set your temperament to sunaminon. This is sunaminon, so fourth, fifth, fourth. No, it's not. This is dies deugmenon. So I'm going to put it into sunaminon by flattening. In fact, this is set up with 3 sharps for the Louvre aulos, so it corresponds with the Louvre aulos. But I'm going to put it back into what you might call, let's say, the standard ancient Greek tuning, where these are a semitone. So you've got a semitone at the bottom of your tetrachord. So that needs to be it. That's a tritone at the moment. Now I'll check it with the plectrum. There we go. Whoops! What is going on there?
The tone.
No, that has slipped. So, why has that slipped? I'll just go back to the beginning. Good. That's fine. And then we have, that's not quite right. Oh, is this another string that's not giving me joy? I want to be able to tune that easily and quickly. Basically, it feels squidgy, yeah? I'm having to move it and then it pulls back. And I'm not hearing an improvement in the sound. So I'm going to look at this. Well, that's why. Okay, this is horrible to tune because it's done a 360. Okay? If you would fail your exam, as far as I'm concerned, if I come along and I'm assessing a lyre player and they've got a string set up like that, it's an instant fail. Okay, that's got to come out. Okay, you cannot get good tuning if you've gone round the crossbar several times. So, what needs to happen here? Because that must have been, 600, 700 degrees. So, we're going to go right the way back, and it needs to do another one of those, okay? Another one of them, and that might be, okay, now, if it's doing that, okay, here we are, that won't tighten, okay? Well, it could, but I'd probably snap the string and it'd be too sharp. So what I need to do is go back to the beginning, okay? Back to the beginning, and instead of starting on this side, okay, this is the front of the lyre, it needs to start on the back of the lyre. Now, I want to make sure that I'm ending up on that side of the collops. So off we go, and here, and round there, and round here, and that, now, okay, it might reach 360. No, it doesn't. Okay, we're okay. So the last turn there has done 300 or something, or maybe 280. So we're okay. Now, this should be easy to tune. There we go. I could do just a little bit, or you could hear the sort of click, click. So I would maybe just take a pastel, an oil pastel, and put a little bit more gunge in there so that it's smoother. Not too much, to make that, yeah, I'm happy with that. Okay, so there we have your Sunemenon, the standard lyre tuning, according to Philolaos and 5th century, early 4th century BC evidence. Archytas. And then I'm moving 2 fingers there and thumb there. Whoa! That one has slipped. So I'm just going to take my fingers here and do it that needs to be a 5th. Oh, look, I am going to snap that string if I go up to 5th. It's done well over 360, so off it comes. If you notice that, don't persevere, okay, because you'll end up with a broken string. So that needs to come off. Look at that. Okay, all those turns there are just a suicide to the string and to the ease of tuning. So, noticing, I'm starting on that side. Well, let's just stay on that side because there were so many. No, so that's wrong because you'll see that I could end up interfering. You could get a buzz there. So this is set up with all the strings coming towards messy. So you see collops. The string is on the messy side of the collops. And likewise here, the string is on the messy side, the central side of the collops. And messy you could do either way. I'm going to go there and here, just quickly, just see what that is like. So I don't think that's going to work because it's going to reach 360 before it's in tune. So I need to go back to the start, and switch it round, okay? So instead of on the far side, it needs to start on the near side, and I need to go on that way around so that when I'm at the front, it comes down there, on the messy side of the collops. And back we go, and, oh, now this is interesting. So that I think that's going to be okay, just from experience. I think, although it may only be 30 degrees on the... Now that's an interesting case. Okay, so that is only done like 20 degrees on the crossbar. Yeah, but that's fine. Because the tension, it's these things down here that give it the stability. That one is super stable. You can see it's got loads of going underneath. So that's fine. Doesn't matter how many you have there. What's crucial is that you don't have any 360. So that was treaty. Now, how are we doing with treaty? Yeah, so I can, I'm judging, am I going to go through there with my thumb or am I going to go round like that? I find that just a little bit easier. That's too much, so there we go. So that was easy to tune because it's only, what angle is that? Maybe that's a 30, 40 degree on the crossbar. So there we go. No strings doing a 360. Beauty of tuning. Getting rid of those interference beats. being able to hear up high and having no click clack and not too slippy, being able to fix your middle string to a stable messy, okay, digital tuner drone, or a piano. You know, to get a digital piano and just, well, your digital piano might only be able to do 440. So that's why a tuner like I use TE tuner, so that's tonal energy tuner. It's not expensive and it's great. It's got all the brilliant metronome as well as good sound and tuning capacities. That's enough for this video. I hope it's useful. If you are a member of the museum, these are the things I'll be looking for next time. And if you're anywhere else on the planet and you want to join in, you're very welcome. Lotos Lab is going to be teaching at the museum 4 or 5 times a year, and the dates will be available at lotos-lab.com. Just check out the events. We're in the process of setting up a new website. You're very welcome to join our mailing list. It'd be wonderful. We'll just let you know what's happening. I'm an aulos player, okay? I feel a total fraud playing a lyre. But I've been collaborating with lyre players and discovered that in order to play aulos with lyre, you need to be good at this stuff. You need to be able to quickly change your lyre to something that might not be 440, okay? Your Louvre aulos, or whatever aulos you're playing, might be a B440, or it might be a C440, or it might be a C438, okay? And that can change according to your reeds and your venue. So the ability to fine-tune your strings depends on on your kind of craftiness with this. That's part of being a lyre player. It's not your instrument, it's you, the player. Thank you for watching. Hope to see you next time.